Arsenal have a mission on their hands, a title charge to strengthen, and after missing out on their top targets, what does Edu Gaspar have up his sleeves? Well, today let's find out which wide forwards are Arsenal targeting, discuss a potential £70 million move for Declan Rice, and break down all that's happening with the title race. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. I hope you guys are doing sensational as always, and oh boy do we have so much transfer news to discuss. So as per, go down there, smash a like if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 150,000 subscribers. We're getting straight into the Arsenal transfer update. Now, Arsenal have many positions that they are trying to strengthen: central midfield, wide forwards, but they also want to sign a brand new right back. As Sky Sports confirmed that Arsenal have granted permission to Fulham to speak to Cedric Soares over personal terms. Now, Cedric going to Fulham is no surprise. He's not a part of Arsenal's long-term plans or get into this current Arsenal team. But despite having Ben White and Tomiyasu, Mikel Arteta wants a bit of variety, and he has found his man, Real Valladolid's Ivan Fresneda, as reports in Spain claim that Arsenal are willing to pay €20 million for his services. 18 years of age, seen as the next best thing coming out of Spain. For such a young player, his profile is so complete, and he excels the most in terms of defensive abilities, ranking up there with the best in terms of tackles and interceptions per 90. Fresneda has so many of the fundamentals, and under the coaching of Mikel Arteta, there could be something special. This signing could give Mikel Arteta the opportunity to move Takehiro Tomiyasu to left-sided centre-back, a position that he has played for Japan. But Fresneda is a man in demand, also wanted by the likes of Newcastle and Manchester United. But in terms of the main area for Arsenal to address, it has definitely been a new wide forward, and Arsenal's main target was of course Mykhailo Mudryk. But as most Arsenal fans know by now, he has signed for Chelsea, and the Shakhtar CEO has revealed some details, saying that Arsenal contacted Mudryk almost 1.5 months before Chelsea. Can you imagine to have Arteta, Zinchenko and the sporting director calling you, and having Arsenal calling you almost every single day? Post negotiations, it seems like Shakhtar weren't impressed by how Arsenal were talking to them. They've sent quite a few shots, but ultimately this came down to money, and they accepted a better financial offer from Chelsea. And as the Shakhtar CEO says, Chelsea's offer for Mudryk had no Ballon d'Or clause. It is achievable bonuses that we feel can be reached, and the bonuses are €30 million that are all related to Champions League and Premier League wins during the next years. Now, how attainable is Chelsea winning the Champions League and Premier League right now when they're 10th in the league? I'm not quite too sure, but it looks like the Shakhtar CEOs were not impressed by the bonus structure that Arsenal put forwards, which included a Ballon d'Or clause. But ultimately speaking, Chelsea had a better financial offer, not just in terms of bonuses, but also in terms of wages. Over £100,000 a week, said to be over double of Arsenal's offer. But since signing for Chelsea, some fans have noticed that Mudryk hasn't seemed too happy, and for someone that's so active on social medias, he's yet to even post himself in a Chelsea kit, and some people believe that there is something dodgy behind his deal. So when you hear the Shakhtar presidents confirm that Chelsea are going to play Shakhtar in a friendly at their stadium and $25 million to the Ukrainian army, it's purely speculation, but there are people that believe that there is something political behind the scenes of this signing. That being said, Arsenal need to move on, and it's always been a part of their transfer strategy to have other targets. In the past, they've wanted to sign the likes of David Raya, Jules Koundé, Lisandro Martinez and Dusan Vlahovic, but instead sign Aaron Ramsdale, Ben White, Zinchenko and Jesus. And it's with those players that Arsenal are 8 points clear top of the Premier League. The strategy of Edu Gaspar and Mikel Arteta has proven it can be successful. So now it's time to move on to the other targets. We're starting off with Brighton's Leandro Trossard, who is out of contract at the end of the season and has been left out of the last few Brighton squads. And Trossard's agent is making moves. And as Fabrizio Romano says, Arsenal have been offered the player, and it's now up to the Gunners to decide. £25 million is the price tag Brighton have set. It's definitely affordable, and he's definitely an opportunity. He's got a lot of Premier League experience. He would not need time to adapt. Able to play as a centre forward, left forward and right forward. He could be a decent option. Leandro Trossard is indeed a part of the targets that Arsenal are watching, but for this winter, he is not their priority. Trossard is a good option, but is he something special? In this current stage of the project, Arsenal can no longer sign simply squad players, and any player they sign needs to be seen as a level raiser. The profile that we need to sign is a forward that can cause chaos, and it's a certain Brighton player in Kaoru Mitoma that certainly fits the bill. Mitoma is second to only Lionel Messi in terms of successful take-ons in the opposition box. Mitoma is a dribbling machine, and this guy causes so many fullbacks issues, recently tearing apart Trent Alexander-Arnold, and even against Arsenal he caused mayhem. A player that's 25 years of age and is said to have a PhD in dribbling. Brighton have a history of scouting very good players, and Arsenal have a history of signing them. The example of course being Ben White, who is now an integral part to Mikel Arteta's starting 11. Matoma would be expensive, upwards of £50 million, but comment down below if you believe he's a profile that Arsenal should be signing. Moving on to Bayer Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby. According to Sky Sports, Arsenal have made contact with Bayer Leverkusen over the possibility of signing Moussa Diaby, but the German club do not want to sell this month and valued him at €100 million in the summer. Diaby is a player that Arsenal have appreciated for a very long time. This season has 12 goals and assists, 23 years of age, very direct, very fast, and also very creative. Diaby's profile is very similar to Bukayo Saka, and it's on the right hand side where I believe Arsenal need the most depth, where behind Saka they only have Marquinhos. But in terms of Diaby, the issue has always been the price tag. And the issue Arsenal have is that they've shown their hand with Mykhailo Mudryk. They've put down a massive offer for a fairly unproven player. Diaby is a player that's proven in the Champions League, that's done it in the Bundesliga, and now that Arsenal have shown how much money they have, it gives Leverkusen a very good position in negotiations. But what about Barcelona's Rafinha, an ex-Arsenal target? Reliable reports have confirmed that Arsenal have made contact with his agents, and according to reports in Spain, Rafinha wants to leave Barcelona this month, and Mikel Arteta has asked Arsenal to secure his signing. He's certainly a player that Arsenal have liked for a very long time. There's a reason why Arsenal tried to sign him in the summer. He's a profile that suits the current Arsenal team. 26 years of age, entering the peak of his powers. He's got a vast amount of Premier League experience, and Barca are looking to sell some players because they need the finances. But does he actually want to leave Barcelona? It was his dream move in the summer and he tried so hard to get there. He may have only started 7 games out of 15. I'm not too convinced that he really wants to leave his dream club after only 6 months. But the more expensive option, AC Milan's Rafael Leao, out of contract in 2024, meaning he'll only have 1 year left in the summer. And over a month ago he admitted, "I watch many games. This year I like Arsenal, they are playing very well." He's a fan of Arteta ball, which is no surprise, but at the same time, as Arsenal fans have just seen with Mykhailo Mudryk, being a fan is one thing, but the most important thing is agreeing the deal. And this would be a massive financial deal. For a player that is finished in the top 30 for the Ballon d'Or, that has helped AC Milan win the Serie A, that is a reigning Serie A MVP, to sign him in January, it would take a crazy offer from Arsenal. But as the stats show, this guy is a superstar, up there with the best forwards in the world in terms of attacking stats. Milan are trying as hard as they possibly can to extend his contract. Arsenal would also have to compete with the likes of Man City and Real Madrid, and this may be a summer opportunity. But talking of a blockbuster transfer, we have a massive update on Declan Rice, as the Athletic confirmed that Arsenal are targeting a summer move for Declan Rice, and that Arsenal are confident they can attract the 24-year-old midfielder. Rice's West Ham deal expires in 2024, and West Ham are insistent that he will not be sold in January, but accept that he will leave in the summer. I've always said that this deal makes so much sense. Able to play as a number 6 but also as a number 8. At 23 years of age, the leadership mentality, Rice is something special in the making, especially under Mikel Arteta. But it'd also be very expensive. But according to Sam Dean, Arsenal hope that an agreement can be struck for £70 million. It's a gargantuan fee, but at the same time, when Arsenal are paying up to £62 million for a fairly unproven Ukrainian, when you then have the Premier League experience of Declan Rice, soon entering the peak of his powers, who's a full England international and could future-proof the Arsenal midfield, and the current market is actually a fairly reasonable price tag. And as Sam Dean says, part of the reason why Arsenal were unwilling to match Chelsea's bid for Mykhailo Mudryk is because they knew that paying over the odds of the player would have an impact on their summer spending plans. Arsenal realise that signing players in January always comes with a premium. Clubs don't want to sell their players mid-season. The summer is where it's at in terms of the biggest transfers. And Arsenal are going to be more attractive than ever, likely to return to the Champions League, which will bring extra finances. But Arsenal have one massive problem in their way, and that is once again Todd Bowley's Chelsea, who are also long-term admirers of Declan Rice. But as Chelsea reporter Nizar Kantella confirms, Arsenal are now the favourites to sign Declan Rice, as Chelsea have other targets like Enzo Fernandez and Moses Caicedo. Declan Rice has said many times in the past he wants to play in the Champions League. So with Arsenal being first and Chelsea being 10th, will Chelsea be able to attract Declan Rice without Champions League football? But in transfers, anything is possible. Having taken Joao Felix and then Mykhailo Mudryk, Arsenal fans are always going to have a sense of PTSD. But comment down below if you believe for £70 million, would Declan Rice be a good signing? Let's move on to the Arsenal contracts, as the future of 3 star boys William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka are all being negotiated. And according to Fabrizio Romano, talks are ongoing with all 3 and the discussions are very positive, but it will take time to get the deal signed this year. The timing is up to the club and the players. All 3 are starters and all 3 are so important. In terms of the most advanced is definitely Gabriel Martinelli, and has said that he only needs a pen to sign a contract. But then you have Bukayo Saka, a player whose profile has skyrocketed, starring at the World Cup and becoming a standout attacker in European football. Arsenal will have to offer this guy a massive amount of wages. But as the player has said on many times, he loves life at Arsenal and loves working under Mikel Arteta. But then you have the future of William Saliba, 21 years of age, a Rolls Royce, and Arsenal recently activated a 1-year extension to Saliba's contract. But in terms of a long-term one, according to ESPN, Arsenal's last contract offer to Saliba was rejected, and there remains a significant difference between the player's demands and the club's current proposal. However, there is a willingness to extend on all sides, and the club remain confident an agreement can be reached. Saliba is a valuable asset and he will see himself as one of the best centre-backs in Europe, and he is going to want hefty wages, especially if you look around Europe. Most of the young top centre-backs are on crazy wages, but I'm not too concerned, because as Saliba says, I'm so happy to be here. The club is speaking to my agent and me, and the only thing I can do is focus on my football, but I am so happy here. The fact that Saliba is so happy at Arsenal, the potential title charge, the return to Champions League football, and the partnership alongside Gabriel Magalhaes, I believe this is a matter of when and not if. Moving on, let's talk Thomas Partey, who has been one of Arsenal's standout players this season, and the stats do the talking. His passing numbers are better than ever, up by nearly 17 passes from last season. We've also seen massive increases in terms of touches per 90, progressive passes, and passes into the final third. Partey is more involved than ever, and this is because Mikel Arteta has instilled a system that maximises his strengths, and a key part behind that is the introduction of Alexander Zinchenko. This guy is a metronome, supreme in terms of technical security, and next to him Partey is learning when to play faster but also when to slow it down. And alongside Thomas Partey, Arsenal have a very good balance. In terms of number 6s, as things stands, comment down below if you believe Thomas Partey is the best in the Premier League. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with the fan that lost his head after the North London derby, kicking Aaron Ramsdale, who went to get his bottle, and reports have confirmed that police are investigating the incidents and they have now made an arrest. One fan has to be very stupid to believe that in the current day where there's so many cameras that he was going to get away with that. But at the same time, I can't blame him. Arsenal are just so good right now, and as a Spurs fan, these guys are burning, these guys are rattled. To see Arsenal come to their ground, to win the game so comfortably, players controlling the ball with their back, the Arsenal players dancing, taking over the stadium, it's only right the Spurs fans are burning, and you know what? Long may it continue. In terms of Spurs and Arsenal, here's a quote from Jose Mourinho back in December 2020, when Arsenal were in the depths of 15th. And even after beating Arsenal 2-0, Mourinho famously said, with Mikel, Arsenal will be Arsenal again. And fast forward over 2 years and Arsenal are better than ever. In fact, here's a fantastic comparison of Arsenal this season versus the Invincibles. And this year Arsenal have more wins, less draws, and have even scored more times than the Invincibles. And the most surprising stat is definitely the goal scoring. To be outscoring a team that had Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Robert Pires, Freddie Ljungberg, without even having a recognised goal scorer, the process is starting to pay off. And no team at this stage of the season that had this many points has not won the Premier League title. That Mikel Arteta is cooking something special. And talking of something special, it's confirmed that Arsenal have started their work around the Emirates Stadium as they install their brand new artwork. The Emirates is about to look even more beautiful, and it's prime time for our massive game this Sunday against Manchester United. But now let's talk about the title race, as there is a massive game this Thursday as Man City take on Spurs at the Etihad. And even though we don't like Spurs here, for once in a lifetime, I'm really hoping for a Spurs win, because our rivals are Man City, and if Spurs could take any points off them, like they done last season, then it could give Arsenal the chance to extend their 8-point lead. But that being said, with Man City playing twice before Arsenal next play, games against Spurs and Wolves, if City were to win both, they could close that gap to just 2. But for Arsenal, our focus is on Manchester United, the most informed team in the Premier League, having won 5 out of their last 5. But they themselves have a massive game this Wednesday, up against Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. The fact that United have to play a game midweek, while Arsenal get an entire week off, it will give Arsenal a massive advantage, and at the Emirates Stadium, with the fans roaring behind them, this game is massive, and that's because some people are starting to believe United are also competing for the title. Now as things stands, they are 9 points behind. Comment down below if you believe, if alongside City and Arsenal, United are also in the title race. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was today's episode of the Transfers FC. And Mudryk is off the table, but who do Arsenal have planned next? We're going to find out very soon. So stay tuned, take care, and I'll see you next time. In a bit.